How's it going, traders? Hopefully you guys enjoy this weekly Forex forecast, and make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. All right, starting things off with the US dollar call report. This call report's very important because we get to see the bank positioning. So the past week, the banks got rid of 875 long positions, and they also got rid of 1,590 short positions. Now, if we look at a daily chart here, you can clearly see this daily demand was holding for a bit, and I am recording this with 2 hours left to go in the day. So I'm not 100% sure if this is going to be fully removed yet. In my opinion, it is looking very weak. And what I think is possibly happening here on the US dollar is we are probably pulling back to maybe around this area right here. I don't have this as demand just yet, but this is some sort of buying. So I think with the removal of that daily demand that I just showed you guys, I think it's very likely we just pull back down to here, and then we continue the move up on the US dollar. So this week, it might be a time to kind of just be waiting to see what happens with the US dollar. I wouldn't really consider buying the US dollar on any pairs until we can at least get this 4-hour supply zone taken out. So if we get something like this, removing this supply, that would be a great indication that the US dollar will be continuing to head up, especially since we had such strong uptrends on the 4-hour chart, but now we've clearly lost momentum and we have reacted off of supply. So like I said, I would just wait it out here on the US dollar and see what happens around that 4-hour area of supply. On to EURUSD forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 1,365 longs, and they also added 16,000 short positions. Hey everyone, just wanted to remind you guys to check out the Level 2 Patreon and YouTube membership. In this membership, we have a private members live stream every Sunday where we go over any pair or stock that you guys would like to go over. Recently, I also added a whole video series on confirmation trading with supply and demand. I'm very excited about this new addition I added to the membership. It's all part of me trying to make this membership as worth it as possible. So definitely check out the Level 2 membership. We also have a private Discord and also custom chart analysis. So I'd be happy to see you guys join the team. Links are in the description down below. All right, so looking at the bigger picture here on the euro, you can clearly see we broke this daily supply zone here in the bottom left of your screen. And you can see we are left with a daily demand zone. So a lot of you guys might be thinking, oh, we got to be buying the US dollar. First, I just wanted to, buying the euro. First, I just wanted to show you why I think we are getting a move up, and that is because we contacted this weekly area of demand that I've had drawn out for probably a year by now. So I think that's why we're seeing the euro get a little strong right now. But remember, look at the bigger picture right here. We have such a strong downtrend. Yes, we are getting evidence that the euro is pushing up. As you can see, like I showed you, a little more detailed view, we have removed this supply zone, leaving us with daily demand. Now, I don't really recommend trading in this daily demand zone based on the such strong trends on the weekly chart. But you could definitely maybe look for a quick little 1-hour confirmation trade in here, maybe on a 15-minute or a 5-minute or a 1-hour chart. But I'd be looking to take profits very early based on the overall weekly and daily downtrend. I would not get excited about the euro, thinking that we're going to be pushing up for a while. In my opinion, I wouldn't even consider buying the euro on a larger time frame until we can get this supply and downward trend line removed. That is the best indication that the euro will start to go up. But now I think all evidence is pointing to the downside in the euro. We might just have to wait. Now, as far as the lower time frames go, an aggressive entry short to trade against the weekly trend or trade with the weekly downtrend would be the removal of this 4-hour supply zone. You would also want to have that zone removed. So if we get something like this and we're left with a 4-hour supply zone, that would be a decent little 4-hour supply zone to possibly look to get in short in a confirmation trade. So that's pretty much all I'm seeing here on the euro. It's looking pretty decent. We might just have to wait around a bit to see kind of what takes place on the 4-hour chart. All right, gold forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 10,000 longs and they added 13,000 short positions. Now, there's something very interesting here on gold. But first, I wanted to point out that in last week's forecast, I actually talked about how gold I thought would just be continuing to fall. Clearly, on the top right and bottom right screen, we can clearly see we are seeing a little momentum push up on gold. And here's why I think that is happening. If you look here, I have this purple box here, and what this is, in my opinion, is a resistance area. This is where price wicked into multiple times, and we're actually just wicking into it again. I've had this drawn since Gold was all the way up here. So now we are reacting off of that again. Now, since I do believe gold will continue to fall, I think what we could see here on this weekly chart is most likely some sort of fake out and then a drop, stopping everybody out down here. That is what I think could happen. I don't really feel comfortable buying gold. If you're looking for, a long-term investment, which I always am, I think it's a great time to be buying gold. But as far as trading goes, I would not be getting in long. Now, as far as shorts go, it's kind of difficult to get involved to the short side too. The daily chart here, if we get a pullback up to this zone, it could be a decent little selling opportunity. Obviously, that might not take place for a few weeks. So right now, I just don't see any options for any type of trading setup. There is a little 4-hour flip zone right here to this for supply. You could definitely look for a 15-minute confirmation in this zone and in this zone. I almost would stay away from this zone though. This is a pretty high quality 4-hour supply zone, so you could definitely look for a confirmation in here. Anything other than that, I would need to have this 4-hour demand taken out, proving to us that the 4-hour trend will continue, because right now we just have a sideways market. We want to see the trend continue, and if there's a 4-hour supply zone right here, that is where we will be basing our short trades off of. So on gold, it's going to be testing your patience for a bit, because I like to trade very conservatively. I'm not a very aggressive trader at all, and it seems to be working out for me. So I always try to let you guys know to be a little more conservative than the average person. USDJPY forecast. In last week's forecast, I pointed out this 4-hour area of demand, and I said you could definitely look for a confirmation trade as price pulled back into this area of demand. So let's take a look here and see what we could find. And I actually found that there was a nice little 15-minute setup here. So if you got involved in this trade, congratulations to you. I just wanted to show you guys what the trade looked like. So as you can see here, we had some supply zones being removed, which left us with this demand zone right here. Let me just mark it out for you guys. And that would have been a nice little trading opportunity right there. 15-minute confirmation coming off of 4-hour supply. So just wanted to show you guys that little setup there. I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought, hopefully somebody watched the forecast and they took notes and got a nice little trade off that. So just want to show you guys that on USDJPY. Now, as far as the call report goes, the past week the banks added 6,500 longs and they also added 7,300 short positions. Looking at this daily chart, or first, let's look at the weekly chart. Top left screen, we just want to show you guys a bigger picture. We still have that extremely strong uptrend on USD yen. The problem now is that we are clearly losing momentum here on this daily chart. I'm actually going to basically remove this zone right now. It's pretty deep removed. So right now we have an overall uptrend on the daily chart, but technically the most recent price action right here has now turned sideways based on this daily demand being removed. So as far as USD yen goes, it's kind of difficult to tell what's going to take place. I'm not seeing a whole lot of setups because the nearest daily demand down is down here. That's going to take a long time to get down there if it even does. Remember, we have a very strong weekly uptrend, so I want to be looking for longs here on USD yen. Now, as far as long positions go, if we come back down to this 4-hour chart, since this 4-hour zone reacted very well off of it and it left us with this supply zone, I think the best thing to do for longs is to wait for this supply zone to be taken out. This one would be good to be taken out as well, but if this one's taken out and we react up this one and we pull back into a 4-hour demand zone right here, this would be your 4-hour demand zone that you would look to take a confirmation trade in. And I remember I will have all of these zones marked out for the YouTube and Patreon members. So that's pretty much all I'm seeing here on the USD yen. Looking a little weak on the lower time frames, but overall the bigger picture, we have just extremely strong trends, and I'm definitely looking forward to possibly getting in long on USDJPY. GBPUSD forecast. The past week the banks got rid of 1,900 longs and they also got rid of 3,700 short positions. Looking at all 4 chart layout here, we clearly have a very strong weekly downtrend and a strong daily downtrend. Now, as far as the top right and bottom right screens go, you can clearly see we are getting a little momentum to the upside, but it's very important to not get distracted by this momentum when the overall bigger picture is still in a downtrend. So remember that as I go over this analysis. Now, as far as the 4-hour chart goes, this would have been an aggressive confirmation entry here to look for 15-minute confirmation in there, but it might have worked out for you guys. I wouldn't have done that based on the weekly trends, but clearly, we are seeing a little momentum build. And I just want to show you guys this quickly on the 1 hour chart. In last week's forecast, I talked about this 1 hour area of supply. I was showing you guys that this was pretty much the only setup I saw, and we actually ended up removing this zone, left us with demand, and look at the reaction from my demand zone right there. Just absolutely incredible reaction. Your take profit would have been hit right away. I just wanted to show you guys the power of my zones, and remember to check out the YouTube and Patreon membership if you want these zones on a daily basis. And look, we even reacted again down here. I actually didn't even notice that. What a demand zone there. So as far as any setups go now, overall, I want to be trading short, right? So what would I be doing? Well, since we're kind of going sideways here in the 4 hour chart, and this is the zone that broke the overall momentum, what I need to see is this zone taken out. I'll be very, very clear. Once this zone is taken out, if there's a 4 hour supply zone here, that would be your potential trading setup, whether you want to look for confirmation in there or not. Now, other than that, that is the most conservative entry. As far as a riskier entry, since we have no 4 hour uptrend, if you want to look for confirmation in this 4 hour supply zone, that's completely fine. If you want to look for 15-minute confirmation in this 4 hour supply zone, that is 100% fine. So it's a little more aggressive, but I think that this 4 hour supply zone, we could definitely see a reaction from it and a move down. So I would at least wait for this demand zone to be removed, or just maybe wait for this zone to be hit to look for 15-minute confirmation coming off of those supply zones. USDCAD. The past week, the banks got rid of 2,700 longs and they added 427 short positions. Now, I'm just going to come out right away and say it on USDCAD. I don't like the way this one looks. Technically, yeah, we have weekly uptrends and daily uptrends, but as far as recent price action goes, like right here, it's looking very, very choppy. I do not know what to be doing on this pair. Therefore, I will not be trading it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably looking for setups, so what I will do is say this. If we can get this 4 hour supply removed and we're left with 4 hour demand right here, that would be a good 4 hour demand zone to look for confirmation into the long side. If we can get this 4 hour demand removed, whatever 4 hour supply zone that is there, that would be a good little zone to look for a quick little day trade to the short side on a 15-minute or a 5-minute chart. That's pretty much all I see here on USDCAD, and even those two potential setups I told you guys are a little risky based on how the overall picture looks. So technically, yes, we have that weekly and daily uptrend, so longs are much preferred, but it's just looking very weak and very choppy. It does not seem like it knows where it wants to go. So with that being said, I think on USDCAD, I would just kind of stay away for it this week, and I'm sure there will be definitely better trading opportunities to come. All right, on to the Aussie dollar forecast. The past week, the banks added a whole 51 long positions, and they also added about 1,600 short positions. Now, remember, we do have very strong weekly and daily downtrends, so keep that in mind as I go through this analysis. And remember, let me know what you guys are trading this week. What pairs are you guys watching? I'm very interested to know what you think is going to happen with the markets. So comment down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking this week. Now, it's a little bit of an interesting pair here. Yes, we have weekly and daily downtrends, but if you look on the lower time frames, such as the 4 hour chart, it's very clear we're getting a lot of momentum to the upside, and we even actually have a 1 hour uptrend here. Now, there was a decent little long setup here, but overall, I want to be getting in short to trade with the overall trends. So to be very clear, what I'm waiting for here on the Aussie dollar is I'm waiting for this uptrend to be removed by removing this upward trend line and this significant demand level. Now, any 1 hour zone here, that would be a little bit of a risky setup, but I would definitely probably take that if the opportunity arises. So with that being said, that's pretty much all I think is possible here on the Aussie dollar. I don't feel comfortable getting in long. It's different when you want to get in long, down here when the uptrend started, but now the uptrend is continued for so long, but we still have those higher time frame downtrends. So I do think it's very likely we will, see the Aussie dollar start to fall off and continue with the overall downward momentum on the weekly and the daily chart. So on the Aussie dollar, this zone is pretty significant, kind of just waiting for that zone to be removed. Now, if you really, really, really want to get in long, this 4 hour supply zone has proven its significance here by contacting it once and twice. So I wouldn't even consider getting in long, and even if it does happen, it's aggressive. But if this 4 hour supply is taken out, any 4 hour demand zone here, that could be your little confirmation area there. And like I said, even if that does happen, you'd still be going against the daily and the weekly downtrend. So it's a little risky. Overall, I think the Aussie dollar is better for shorts, but we're just going to need to wait to see that confirmation to the downside first. All right, on to USDCHF, the Swiss franc. The past week, the banks added 2,100 longs and they got rid of 69 short positions. Now, remember, if you've been watching my forecast for a while, I don't like this pair. Yes, we have a weekly uptrend, but the daily is all over the map here. So as far as entries go, I would only be looking at the lower time frame. So if you trade the 1 hour chart, if you're entering on the 1 hour chart, this pair is definitely not for you. But since we have a 1 hour downtrend here, what you could be doing is looking for 5 minute or 50-minute set and forget trades, or sorry, just 5 minute or 1 minute set and forget trades to the downside. If you don't know what set and forget trading is, check out my trading tips playlist in the description down below. So what that is you would just be trading with this 1 hour downtrend to the short side. If we do get a pullback up to this area of supply, I'm not in love with it, but you could definitely look for a 15-minute confirmation coming off of that supply zone. And that's pretty much all I see here on USD Swiss. Like I said, since the higher time frames are looking a little wacky, your trend analysis and trading should only be done on extremely low time frames, like a 5 minute or a 1 minute chart, kind of based on the 1 hour downtrend. So that's pretty much all I'm seeing here on the Swiss franc. All right, last but not least, we got crude oil. The past week, the banks got rid of 478 longs, and they also got rid of 3,200 short positions. Now remember, we do have a pretty strong weekly uptrend, but the daily chart is just kind of all over the map. We're basically trading between this supply and demand zone, or sorry, supply and demand down below. So demand is technically in control, but this chart is just all over the map here. What I think is going to happen here on oil, this is my prediction, is we will probably be pulling back to at least $90, maybe 87, 86, somewhere around there, and then we will start to see that bigger push to the upside here on oil. So it's kind of a tricky one. I wouldn't be trading it right now. If you're getting in long, it's just so obvious that this is where people have been getting in long, that what I think is going to happen is we're going to see a fake out very similar to what happened here. So that is why I don't really recommend trading this pair right now. And so you might be saying, okay, well, Kevin, why are you saying you wouldn't get in long for that reason, but you think it's going to go down? Why wouldn't you get in short? Well, here's why. We have a very strong weekly uptrend, and daily demand is still in control. It's proven to us that we've seen a reaction off of it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, coming in for a 6th time. So like I said, I think we could drop down, but that does not mean we won't see a reaction up like this and then a push down. And your analysis would be correct that we are going down, but you might be stopped out by that move, and that move will be caused by daily demand. That's why I think oil right now is a little bit of a tricky one to be trading. Overall, I think it's going up, but we're going to need to start to see some significant evidence on this 4 hour chart that we will be continuing to go up. We have a very beautiful downtrend here. So once that downtrend is removed, then I would actually probably start to consider to place some long positions here on oil. Hopefully you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If you did, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like and check out the Patreon or YouTube membership if you need help finding your supply and demand zones. It's only $5 CAD per month. Hope to see you guys there and hope to see you in the next video.